Well, it was the Clay Holmes show on Friday, the Joshua Baez show on Saturday. I'm not entirely sure whose show it was on Sunday here, but it was definitely the Cardinals show, unfortunately, as the Cubs dropped this game 11-4, fall back to 72-53 as they drop the rubber match against the St. Louis Cardinals here on Sunday. Welcome to Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. I'm Lance Brozdowski alongside the resident Hall of Famer, Elise Menaker, in here to chat through what is somewhat of a disappointing loss. A game that fell in the fourth or so, fifth inning, was already kind of a lost cause for the Cubs. What's your initial reaction to this?
Yeah, so actually I thought you summarized it pretty well, because when you're saying off the top, you get Clay Holmes, and then yesterday was Joshua Baez, and I'm looking at the starting pitching through that, because yes, Joshua Baez had most of the damage yesterday, but Matthew Boyd was the one starting, gave up 7. Edward Cabrera comes off the IL, gives up 7. So the theme here, anytime this team has really clicked and been rolling, and you're like, man, even through all these pitching injuries, what's been going right? Starting pitching. So they didn't get it in these critical, I say critical, but I just think these are important games within the division. You're playing a rival. You know, you want to win this season series, which they couldn't do today. And so it does go back to Edward Cabrera, just off to a rough start coming off the IL. And fortunately not what you were looking for, but it's what happened.
Yeah, he's still getting going. We're taking a look at Edward Cabrera here. He goes 3 2/3, 6 hits, 7 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. It's his first start since June 23rd. A lot of fly balls early in this one. That one was challenged right there. Unfortunately, didn't go through. He walked in a run the other way. It's just a lot of contact, hard contact, not enough missing of the bats. Command maybe was not so great. Are you chalking this up to kind of Russ coming off the IL? And positively looking forward at least to his next couple starts? What's the vibe?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that throughout his start, because I thought there were a couple of innings in there where he was finding a groove around the strike zone more. The misses weren't as big, but then, you know, I really look at the inning. So after PCA hits his home run, it's a 3-2 ball game, and then you go into the fourth, that's where you needed a 0, and that's where they put up 6. So that, for me, like you were saying, the Cardinals early on, they were making hard contact. So they were driving the ball, hitting it out of the park. Burleson, the one who makes it 2-0 in the first, so right away they get to him. And then you think that he's finding that groove with the sinker, the change. Not as many whiffs in this game as you would normally expect from Cabrera. That I was thinking, okay, maybe there's some rust here and he's just getting back into it, but it's the idea that just giving up some hard contact and having a tough time finding the zone. Yeah,
definitely looking for him to rebound in his next outing, which will likely land up to be in Seattle in the coming weekend for the Cubs after they get the Crosstown Classic going here early this week. The other story of this game is Dansby Swanson. Kind of an unfortunate, weird swing here, middle innings of this game. He takes a hack. It almost looks like in the moment it's something with his hand. He comes out immediately, kind of tosses his helmet, and we find out later, and we'll hopefully get an update here for you on Cubs Postgame Live regarding what exactly is up, but it's left side tightness is what it was reported as in-game. Very uncomfortable kind of swing here. This is one of those moments where your stomach kind of drops when you see one of the star players, a stalwart at shortstop for this team defensively, and he's been really productive offensively this season as well. What do you think the emotion is in the clubhouse around something like this, Elise?
In general, the position group has been very healthy so far this season. The Cubs have been very lucky in that sense with all the injuries they have faced on the pitching side. They have not gone through stuff like this so much on the position side. For Dansby Swanson to leave a game like that means that something is bothering him. And so, like you said, that left side discomfort, hopefully we'll get more details. But Dansby this defense revolves around him. And so that up the middle, it's so solid. We talk about how much the pitchers love throwing to the guys behind them, and he's a big part of that. So I think what you're seeing is the depth that they have built. Now that will come into play more. And so you can fill that, whether it's Nico Horner sliding over, then Pedro Ramirez at second. Matt Shaw is slowly getting healthy. James Triantos entered the game today. So there are options. Now, none are going to be as good defensively as Dansby, which is why, you know, we'll see how severe this is, if it deserves an IL stint. But this team is better with Dansby Swanson out on the field in this lineup, but this also happens. And so we'll have to now see what this means for their lineup and the tweaking then they'll have to do.
And we'll hear some council sound later on postgame here to give you hopefully an update or maybe some more information on what the Cubs' next steps will be in regards to that. The bright spot of this game, as it is for so many games this season, has been Crow-Armstrong. He hits his 28th home run, and this is our lottery fast play of the game presented by the Fast Play. Download the Illinois Lottery app to play today. Number 28 for Crow-Armstrong, and a fastball down in the zone. Another one of those ones, Elise, he makes contact and you immediately know it's gone. He's now 2 away from 30-30.
This is in his zone. You're going to pitch it down a little bit in. He'll go and get it. First pitch, he's ready to go. You know, he did not have a hit in 3 previous games, but I think now with the way his discipline, his approach, his swing, all of it, he can limit those slumps, if you will, and then just come out swinging like this. And then this doesn't slump, the defense. This is a great catch when he's going back. Later in the game, you saw Carson Kelly there on the mound, and even Carson looking like, I love this defense. This is great. But the way you have to slow yourself down when you're going into the brick wall, he has mastered that, and so really nice catch.
That's a funny one, too. I imagine at some point you're going to ask Carson Kelly his thoughts about PC
Yeah,
in
because
the
you
outfield.
hear it all the time,
Exactly.
but now Carson's like, this is no joke.
He's a little closer to it. He wasn't catching. He was on the bump in a game that was unfortunately a blowout here. But PC had the lone bright spot of this game again as the Cubs drop at 11-4 to the Cardinals, lose this series and fall back to 72 and 53.